Remember, I really live off of your feedback, your comments, not only here live, but when I send you guys emails or I put a comment thread below a video. I am genuinely curious as to what it is you're interested in, because I can just go in so many different directions. I want to make sure that it's applicable to you guys. I want to make sure that you're hip to it, that you're jiving with it. So please make sure, hi Roselia, please make sure that please make sure that you're giving me some feedback and stuff like that. Okay, guys, please. It's my oxygen. It's my lifeblood. I need your comments. No, I'm just being silly now, but we are gonna jump in and get started here. So I'm gonna load up my intro video.
He's got some information that's very valuable. I want you to listen to what he has to say, and I want to congratulate you. That was great. Thanks, Ted.
I just love that jam. So welcome, everybody. We are doing the 5 steps to forgiveness today. And if that's something that is interesting to you, well, you're in the right place for one thing, but I think it's something that is, I dare say it's not interesting to most people, and it needs to be one of the most important things for you to master, I guess, or to assimilate, or to practice, or to get knowledge and wisdom about. So we're going to spend the day doing that, and I'm going to tell you a story about something that happened to me in my younger years. Not like I'm old or anything, but I'm actually 36, 37, something like that. I don't know. It changes every year. But what I want to do is give you guys a little bit of a story about how I sort of came to these conclusions. And, I didn't invent the 5 steps to forgiveness, and I won't claim to either. But it's something I've been able to put into practice. It's take little bits from here and little bits from there, and get after it a little bit. So move this guy a little bit closer. I'm just going to relax back here. We'll just get right into it, because ultimately today is about something. And what I want you to understand is that you are this dynamic broadcaster of vibration and frequency. So I think we all have a pretty good grasp on that idea. You use your mind, you think about something, you're thinking about it, you're using intention, you're focusing the power of your mind, like a laser beam, just specifically on something. So I'm going to draw a line today, and the line is going to be between what we call the conscious mind and the subconscious brain. And I'm very semantic here. My granddad was one that was really anal retentive about, you never call it the subconscious mind. And the reason why is because mind implies thinking. It implies cognition, consciousness, which is the definition of consciousness. So the subconscious doesn't think, okay? It doesn't reason, it doesn't judge, it doesn't think. It just responds. It reacts with perfection. Every time it's going to act or react with, well, I'll get into the with part, but I just want you to understand that there is a difference here. I'm drawing a line because here's ultimately what I want for you. I want you to be able to live an awesome life. I want you to be able to use the principles that we talk about again and again to attract things, to manifest stuff, to co-create, to influence the expression or the outcome of your day, of your life, whatever it is. And you do that with not just your conscious mind and just your conscious thinking. That there is a collection of experiences that have happened to you throughout your entire life that are all stored inside of here. So I'm going to talk a lot about subconscious memory today. I'm going to talk about the limbic brain, and which is really the emotional brain. So this is subconscious emotional memory. But you can apply all of this stuff to the other conversations we've had about the field, whether it's the mental body or the emotional body, the astral body, the etheric template. It's all interchangeable and one and the same. So I'm going to kind of talk from the syntax of the brain, conscious, subconscious, sort of physical anatomy, because I have some fun pictures to share with you guys today to go through that. But ultimately, this is about your ability to break free from your past. This is about you showing up to your life in a way that you get to say, hey, I'm not really enjoying where I'm at right now. I'm doing all the right things. I'm reading the books. I'm doing the meditations. I'm getting focused. I got my dream board on the wall over here. What gives? Why is it not going the way that I want it to go? And what I'm here to tell you is that out of, like, if the screen right here is all of the, the juice that you got to send out your attraction power, okay? This side of it over here is dealing with your conscious mind, okay? But over here, this is what's stored in your memory of your experiences in life, and it's stored in the subconscious. See, here's a great way for you to wrap your head around it. If you go to bed at night, you're not conscious anymore. You're asleep. So you're not thinking about your goal. Let's say your goal is, I want to buy this new home in the next 5 years. I want to pay it off. Okay. You think about it. New home, want to get the 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 new home. But as soon as you stop thinking about it, okay, you go, I'm hungry. I wonder where I'm going to eat lunch today. All of this background chatter and this stuff that I'm calling subconscious memory, it dominates and it takes over. And if it's full of, you can't do it, you suck, you're a loser, you tried it once and failed, you tried it 5 times and you failed, what makes you think you're going to do it? You're too tall, you're too short, you're too skinny, you're too fat, your nose is too big, your nose is too small, you don't have any hair on the top of your head, you have too much hair down here on your face. You see how ridiculous that sounds, but these are the head games that we play with ourselves. You know it, you do it. So, be honest with yourself about it. I know that you're sitting behind a screen somewhere and you may disagree with that. So hopefully I can build a case today to show you that most of us are stuck, and we're stuck in the past. We are reliving and recreating old, outdated bullshit, for lack of better words, because we didn't get the lessons. We didn't get what we were supposed to get out of it. We didn't learn. We didn't take away what we needed to take away. Okay. So that's where we're going today. If that is exciting to you, then you don't even know what I got in store for you guys today. So I want to begin with a story. And again, the story is just like a parable. I mean, it's true, but it's something that I want you to apply to yourself, because if you want to start broadcasting a different frequency, if you want to break out of the sort of rhythm and the hypnotic pattern that your life has been trapped in for who knows how long, then you need to take this stuff to heart, and you need to understand that it's not always about going back and clearing up all of the old things. A lot of the power that I think that we don't, maybe we get it. And let me elaborate on it. The power is in us moving forward in a positive direction. The power is in us creating new subconscious emotional memories, new triggers that leverage us and what we want, that are positive and supporting and powerful and full of love and empowerment. Okay. A lot of times we think that we're really positive because, we read Think and Grow Rich or something, and I have some sticky note on my bathroom mirror that says, you're a champion and you can do it, which is all, fine and good. I'm not knocking that. The problem or the disconnect is in our idea of thinking that if I can just think about being positive for a few minutes here and there, that's actually going to impact and influence my life. So it's not necessarily about me running back to, clear up my past to fix everything that's broken. I think a lot of it is about our tenacity, our habits, and our ability to create new triggers moving forward that reinforce the positivity and the love and acceptance and bliss and joy and all of the inspiration that is necessary in order for us to expand into those higher levels and to tap into some of those frequencies, those universal, vibrations or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so this is about you not only breaking free from your past, which is what the 5 steps of forgiveness is going to be about, okay? This is a technique and a tool for you to break free from that stuff. But ultimately, I want to stress for you how important it is for you to move forward. It's the moving forward stuff that is more important, okay? Because you can go see some healer, somebody that does some technique, and they, promise you X, Y, Z. That's what my entire business is founded on. People come and get on the table, and we deal with these subconscious emotional memories or these subconscious emotional triggers. Clear them up. Their body was responding perfectly to some situation in the past that they were stuck in, they were reliving. We do the treatment, boom, they're free from it and they move forward. But here's what happens. Most of them screw it up before they get to the car. Most people don't know how to move forward in a way that supports the transformation and the change that they're creating in their life. So it doesn't matter if they go and see some, doctor, healer, worker, whatever you want to call it, whoever you want to see that does great work. And I really believe in that stuff and the subtleties of it. But if you don't know how to move forward, then it's all for naught. You wasted your time, you wasted your money, you wasted the other person's time, and you created some false sense of security, like everything is okay. So you can't just put a little bit of effort into it 5 or 10 minutes out of the day and think that that's going to give you long-lasting permanent change in your life. Okay, so I don't want to go off on a tangent, but I want to stress for you to make sure right now you understand. You guys right now watching me, you need to understand. The power is not in clearing up the old stuff. It's in moving forward in a new way and training yourself in a new way so that there's like this landslide that happens. We have this giant ball of negative energy, and over here we have this little tiny ball of positive energy. And if we go over here and we try and attack this and break it down, but we never fix the system that created that to begin with, we're just really messing with the effect. But I'm telling you, if you can work on growing this positive ball bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, it will finally take over and this landslide will happen. All that other stuff gets blasted. I'm telling you, this is how it works. So take that to heart as we move through our lesson today. All right, are you guys having fun? Can everyone hear me okay? Just check in with me real quick. Let me know that you are there. Okay. Thank you. All right, so I want to begin with a story. And this is an experience. This is something that happened to me. I'm a young guy. I was 16, 17 at the time. Yeah, I was 17. I was on the line there. Doesn't matter. Anyway, growing up in my family, we moved around all the time. So, I wasn't like a military kid or anything. My stepdad, he was in sales. So he was always like, going to this job and that job. And I moved 11 times before I had turned 16. Before I turned 18. Regardless, it's all a blur. But what had happened was, one year we moved to a new town and my stepdad, he's like, we're not moving anywhere else again, I promise. So I spent my junior year of high school in this place and a bit of sophomore and then junior year. So I had a year and a half or 2 years there, which was awesome. That was like a long time for us. And I was, like I didn't want to move anymore. That's the whole point of what I'm building up to. But, they told me, we're not going to do that to you again. Like we understand how hard that is on any person, especially a person your age. You have a younger brother and a younger sister, and it's a little easier for them as it was easier for you when you were younger. But at this age, it's about having roots and it's about building relationships. And Daniel Kahneman, Nobel Prize, I'm trying to remember the name of his book. It was about happiness. And he said that companionative love, so whether that was romantic love or just good friends that were companions, came with time. It came through people going through stuff together, through adversity, through tough times together. That's what forged and created the bonds for them. And that most of successful marriages come from two people that were childhood friends, that they just knew each other for a long time. And that's kind of the way in our tribal instinct that we've always been. It's only more recently that we like grow up and move away and move all over the country and do everything. So we are designed really or wired to be connected with people that we go through stuff with. All right. He called it companionative love. So where am I going with that? Well, just the idea that I was in a position in my life where I was, going to be graduating from high school soon. And, as you go through high school in America, it's all about your senior year of high school because, it's your last one and you're the top dog on the totem pole and whatever, blah, blah. So here's what happened. It was a summer and I was looking forward to hanging out, and going to the lake with my friends and doing that kind of stuff. Get a knock on the door. It's late in the evening. And my mom, my stepdad, they're both standing there in the doorway. So like immediately I know something ain't right. Like, you know how you see something and it's not right. And then all of a sudden your physiology changes. Like that's totally what happened to me. I was like, oh shit. That's basically what I said in my head. And they proceeded to tell me we were going to move again. So we're moving from Utah to Florida. This was, several thousand miles. That I was going to finish my new year of high school in a brand new school with a bunch of people. So, I was pissed off. I was really hurt. I was lost and alone, frustrated. I was confused. And even though like my story is not your story, so yours is different, but those kind of feelings, those are the things that are the common denominators with that. That's stuff that unites us. Those are the things that make us human and make us similar. That's like me feeling so like torn and like ripped out of the ground, like roots and all, just like, and the feeling, the like raw vulnerability of that. That's not exclusive to Ted, right? You felt that way. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You do. And the idea of being ripped away and moved is not fun. Okay, it's painful, it's hurtful, it cuts, it's it's like opens you up. And there needs to be healing that comes from that, because ultimately this was the catalyst that set off my big problem. So we moved to a new town. I was just a stick in the mud. I didn't want to be helpful. I didn't want to be enjoyable. I didn't want to be around anybody. I was pissed off at the world. So I walked around, I looked at the ground, I didn't talk to anyone. I started this new school. I don't make any friends. People try to talk to me, I tell them, go away, shut up, leave me alone. I would bring these books. And I was always an avid reader. This phase, though, I got into these, I got into reading like fiction novels, like magic kind of books of fantasy lands, which never was really my thing. But when I got into these things, I would just get lost in them. And so lunchtime would come and I'd go find a table in the back in the corner. And the high school I went to in Florida was one of those crazy schools with a 12-foot chain link fence around it. And it was an outdoor campus, so there was a police officer with a gun and handcuffs, and he would drive around on his golf cart. And it was like a police state school, which is most schools nowadays. That's a whole nother conversation. But there was not a lot of like warming, welcoming. This is a great place. It was, reminded me of jail. Anyway, here's what happened to me. I have this attitude. Okay, I got a chip on my shoulder, and I come to school one morning, and I go to my first class. It's a health class. So health class is always taught by the football coach or the PE coach. The guy with the really tight shorts that are like cutting off the circulation. He's got his whistle and his T-shirt tucked in, and he's like walking around like I'm the football coach. You can tell I still have some beef about that kind of character or that way of showing up to life. But I go to health class. He's the teacher. I go to the back of the room. I'm early. I get there early. I'm not going to hang out and talk to anyone. Go right to class. Get the book out. I'm reading. And like when I get into these books, I'm sure that you have this experience. You're really into it. You can smell the smells. You can, smell the mud and earth. The jungle is the hero, is like got the machete cutting his way through the vines and the limbs, and you can hear the sounds, and the shirt is ripped, and like you are there to the point where someone can come up and be like, Ted, Earth to Ted. And all of a sudden you go like, yeah, what, were you talking to me? And like, yeah, I was just yelling your name, right? So this is the level that I would get into these things. So here's what happened. The bell rang, the Pledge of Allegiance came on. Everyone's supposed to stand up and, put their hand on their heart and stare at the American flag and recite and pledge their allegiance to their country and to their God, to, the pledge allegiance to the flag, United States American, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There you go. Fast, fast, fast. So I didn't stand up and I didn't say the Pledge of Allegiance. Honestly, I didn't even realize it was going on. I was just like this. I was just like in my book. And the football coach, he did not like that. In fact, he was very offended by that. So he walked over to my desk and he reached down and he slammed my book shut. And he grabbed me by the arm, some of my shirt, my arm, picked me up and drug me in front of everyone out into the hall, closed the door. Then he does this number. He grabs a fistful of my shirt and he slams me up against this row of lockers behind me, gets in my face, and he starts yelling. And he says, "You will not disrespect me, my country, and my God ever again. Are we clear?" And so I'm 17 years old. I'm a kid. Here's this teacher, this coach, this authority guy. He's mad at me and he's got me in a precarious position. So I kind of mumble something like yes or yes, sir, or something like that. He walks over to the door, opens the door up and walks in, and he just kind of leaves me standing in the hallway. I'm like a deer in the headlights. So I walk in behind him and, I walk right past, because I was sitting in the back of the room. So everyone gets to watch me walk in with my shirt all wrangled up and their eyes bugging out of their head and they're laughing and giggling. So I walk back and I take a seat. Okay, so the reason that I'm sharing this story with you, okay, which is not over, by the way, the reason I'm telling you this is because what happened to me in that moment was this like short circuit. Like all the systems shut down, all the breakers got flipped, okay, and I got stuck. I got stuck in that moment. And I want you to think right now, okay, what is a time in your life, an event in your past, something that happened with such intensity and emotion, with such like gusto that you got stuck? What is it? Think about it. To make you, but seriously, what is it for you? What's the event that took place that made you stop? We're like, when did you stop? When did you decide that it wasn't okay to dream about life and all of the amazing things? When did you decide to settle for safety and security and play it small? I'm not saying that it's dumb to, be smart and to take a bunch of dumb risks. But what I'm saying is that experience that happened to me at 17 years old, and there are many more that happened to me when I was even younger and younger and younger. And there were more that happened to me as I got older and older. But they set in motion something. They set in motion this way of being, this way of thinking, this way of like seeing the world, my expectation, this way of being. It grew and it grew and it grew until it finally becomes like this gunk or this wall, this like cement around me that was trapping me. Okay. What is it that happened to you? Because I want you to really identify this. Okay. I'm not just trying to be cheesy because I want you to be interactive or something. But as we go through our 5 steps, I'm going to refer back to your thing. So think about it. What is it? What's your thing? Because what happened to me was that stuff was just stuck in my head. And for a few years, I said years, I would think about it all the time. I would get pissed off. I would get mad. I'd get madder than snot. That jerk, how did he do that? That was so wrong. How do you think I felt when I was doing that? What do you think my chemistry in my body was doing? What do you think my blood pressure was like? What do you think my blood sugar was doing as adrenaline and corticosteroids were like zooming through my body? All right. How do you think I was physically, chemically responding? All right. It was in utter emergency. It's terror. It's like I was back against the lockers. It's like he had me back against the locker. Every time I think of it, it was like right back in the moment again. I was stuck in the moment. I was replaying the moment again and again. I was stuck like a record that just skips and skips and skips. I was stuck. I was stuck there. Every time I think of it, my body would replay it. It was like a tape that just played again and again and again. All right. And that went on for a long time. Then I got to the point where I didn't think about it so much, but I knew it was still bothering me because I would almost get to sleep at night, where you're like, whoa. And then right there, I would remember that jerk. I would remember that coach, and I would get so mad. I would get so angry at that dude. See, it was almost as if I had taken this experience that happened in my life and I had stored it in my memory in a way that was not helping me. It was not serving me. It was not helping me. I was not growing because of it. I was not learning anything. And it just kept knocking on the door. I really think that as I fell asleep at night and my conscious mind started to turn off and come out of the picture, up popped something from the subconscious, pleading with me, begging me to deal with this differently, begging me to do it differently. Okay? And I only realized that in hindsight. I didn't realize that at the time. I was just madder than the hornet. I'd have to get up out of bed and go watch TV for a half hour or something, or go for a walk, just so I could calm down enough to go back to sleep. Because if I didn't, I would just toss and turn and think about it all night. How many times do you go to bed like that? Even if it's not something that happened to you years ago, how often do you just lay in there in bed and you can't turn your head off? All right. I dare say it's half of you. At the minimum, at least. So do me a favor here. If you're enjoying this, type something in the box for me. Just come over there and just type yes. Just anything at all. I want to see something from you guys, because I've just been talking for a while now, and I want to make sure that not only are you hearing me, but that you're engaged with me, that you're not doing something else. All right, take this time right now and look at me. Let me know that you're here and that you're hearing me and that you're taking this to heart, because this is about you, and this is about you learning from these experiences. This is about you not being stuck in all of that stuff. Okay? This is about you breaking free from your past, because if you're stuck in that stuff, whether you consciously are aware of it or not, it's in the limbic brain. It's in the subconscious memory. It is a subconscious emotional trigger. It's a set, S-E-T, set point. subconscious emotional trigger. It's a set point. And I promise you that you are beaming that stuff out 24/7, 365. It's always going, always, always, always. The only time you override it is when you use your mind in a productive way to focus on your goal. You look at your dream board and your mind is overriding and overpowering everything. You sit down and you do meditation and you think about, I use the example, I want to buy that house in the next 5 years. Okay, I'm thinking about it. And the conscious mind is so powerful and it overrides all of that stuff. So the signal you're beaming at is, I want that house. I want that house. I want that house. But the second you stop thinking about it, your background noise is what takes over. So I want to make sure you understand that today's conversation is about the background noise. Okay, it's about not only how we're going to use tools to clean up some of that stuff, but being aware of the fact that how we use our mind and move forward so that we're recreating and reinforcing, and through repetition, we are developing a new rhythm, a new way of being, right? A new space to hold, a new version of who you are, like the ultimate version of you, okay? So I remember this very clearly. I was doing dishes. I was in my apartment. In fact, I was in chiropractic school then at the time. Oh, excuse me. I was in chiropractic school in this cool little apartment, washing the dishes, and I was thinking about the coach. And I was just getting all mad, and I'm washing dishes like really aggressively, and I'm just way into it. And what happened, like in that moment, like there's no coach, he's not there, okay? And this had been years ago. This had been about 9 years after that event happened, okay? 9 years later, here I am in my kitchen doing dishes, thinking about this jerk. What a jerk. How could he do that? It's so unfair. I was just a kid and I was in a bad place and I was just really mad at the world and I didn't even do anything to him and he just humiliated me in front of everyone. How could I ever even show my face again? Not to mention that that's not the role of a teacher, an authority. They're supposed to be mentors and guide, not to just like beat me down and make a fool out of me, okay? I was singing the victim song. That's exactly what that is. It's all of the things that are so wrong about what happened to me, and I'm not responsible or accountable for any of them. That's what I was doing. Washing dishes, and I realized this. He's not here. He's probably like back in Florida on the beach, hanging out, doing whatever, having a great time. And I'm the one sitting here getting all pissed off about it, and I am killing myself. I literally am killing myself. It is just ripping me apart 9 years later when I'm washing dishes. The chemistry running through my body is one that is not about health and healing and growing and moving forward. It's not about any of that. It's about protection. It's about shut down. It's about watch out. It's about defend. This was the world I was living in. And this is only one story. This is only one example. I mean, I could give you lots of positive things that happened in my life, and I could give you a lot of negative ones. And if I'm stuck in all the negative ones, then it doesn't matter how many positive ones I've had. It doesn't. Because the background noise, the broadcast, the vibration that's being sent out into the world, it is one of being a victim of, well, I'll just say all that negative stuff. And then you wonder why you attract a bunch of other things. You're like doing the right things. See, this is the fallacy. This is the problem. This is what pisses me off about like law of attraction teachers and guru teachers. They're like, all you have to do is think really hard about it. Just think. Just think and grow rich. And if you don't understand this other piece of the puzzle, then you're missing 75% of your power. You're leaving it on the table. Okay. If you don't understand this idea, you're not utilizing the awesome power that you have. Okay, so just keep following me. I'm building a case for you. I like to do that, don't I? I build and build and build, but we have to start with the foundation. So I want you to understand something about your neurology and about your brain and how your brain and body work together. And it's a series of slides that I put together. And so I'm actually going to play a video for you guys right now. And the reason that I'm showing you this video, this is just something I made on a PowerPoint presentation. So I pre-recorded the thing, pre-recorded my voice. It's about, I don't know how long it is. I'll tell you here when I pull it up. I think it's about 20 minutes. But 24 minutes. It is about you understanding how you store things in memory. So you need this part to really understand the 5 steps to forgiveness. If you really want to get the most out of this, I want you to pay attention to this right here, because I'm going to show you how you store things in subconscious emotional memory. I'm literally going to show you how the brain stores that stuff as experiences take place in our life. And then when the video wraps up, I'm going to just jump right back on, and we will move from there into the 5 steps. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go through a few images, and really what I want is to help you get not only just hearing me, but get a real visual picture of what we're trying to forgive, what it is we're breaking free from, how we store things, and how we get stuck in the past. Because I think if you can see this here, that it's really going to help you master the 5 steps. It's going to help you, bring it into every fiber of who you are, so that it's not like a head process that you're thinking about, but it becomes part of you. It's a visceral sort of woven into the fabric of who you are. And this is an important part. This is a foundational part. So for you to get it all, I'm not going to try and make a scientist out of you here, but I want to show you some pictures of how the brain works, and we're going to keep it really simple. So first I'm going to just show you who the players are, okay? So this is your brain and your spinal cord. This is a happy brain. So the reason that I show you this is because the brain and the spinal cord, they modulate all the functions of your body. So everything that's happening in your physical body is a direct response from information coming from the brain. And I'm, overgeneralizing that, I understand, but for the most part, that is true. So I want to take this brain, and we're going to delineate. I draw a line here, and we're going to separate them into conscious and subconscious. And I want to talk about what those mean and kind of define them for you. The conscious just means awareness. So this is the part of your brain, or your frontal cortex, or your frontal lobe, your prefrontal cortex. This is your awareness. So this is the part of your brain where you know your name. You know that, you want to have tacos for lunch. You know that, you want to take a nap. This is where you feel excited, or you feel very frustrated, or you feel really depressed. These are all areas of your brain that are working around your awareness. So things that are subconscious are really sub-awareness, or below your awareness. So when we talk about subconscious, it's not a Freud thing. It's not your ego id. I always tell patients, we're not going to sit on a couch and talk about your feelings. I just want you to understand that your subconscious brain is what runs your body. Okay, you don't think about digesting lunch. You don't think about your kidneys filtering blood. You don't think about your hair and fingernails growing. It just happens under the guidance of something. So I'm going to show you where that pilot is that is sort of driving the bus. So I'm going to open up a doorway here between the conscious and subconscious brain. And what happens is, in our awareness, or in our present time environment, information comes in. This happens through the 5 senses. We process it, and then we send a message down into the subconscious where the pilot lives. So I'm going to pull the pilot up right here. And the pilot then sort of delegates what happens. But in a perfect world, this is all done from present time information. Okay, this is the five senses. We see it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it. It's about information coming in from my environment so that I can have an appropriate response in my, not only in my physical body, but in my energetic body as well. So these are the players here, and I'm going to show you how this is supposed to work, okay? In the perfect world, this is how the information comes in and how the process works. So we're going to go through the animation again here. So let's say, number one, something comes into my awareness. Let's say I see something and it's a bear. So I look across the road and I see a bear. So in that moment, I don't know what to do until I run back here to my memory bank. So number two in the picture here is it's almost like a card catalog, at the library, if you remember those. We run to the card catalog or to the memory bank and we look for our file that's called bear. So again, I see it, but I don't know what to do until I run back and I look up the file for bear. And when I find the file, I go, oh, this is bad. Like, this bear he's gonna eat me. So a message comes from the conscious mind down to the pilot. So follow me in number 3 to this arrow. And the message to the pilot goes something like this. It goes, pilot, we've used the five senses to analyze the environment. We saw a bear. We looked up the file on bear, and this is bad. It's gonna eat us. So we need you to change what the body is doing so that we can run away. And this is what we call fight or flight. We can fight, we can stay and fight the bear, or we can run. So let's say we run in this example. Well, it requires a lot of functions in our physical body to change. Our blood pressure has to go up and our heart rate has to go up and our pupils dilate so we can see where we're running, among hundreds of reactions that happen instantly, just like at the snap of a finger. Your adrenaline starts pumping, your cortisol runs through your blood sugar increases. So I'm not going to go into all of that. But I just want you to see that in this moment, the pilot says, okay, I got the message. I'm going to get to work. Pilot now says to the body, all right, troops, listen up. We've got a message from headquarters and we need to get out of here. So what we do is what I call a stress response. We launch into this fight or flight stress physiology. All the chemicals, all of the tension in our body, and all of the tension and stress in our mind is just firing at 100%. So this is a good thing. If there's a bear coming, I want my body to behave like this. I want to be able to get out of there. I'm sure you've heard of superhuman feats of strength where like a mom can pick up a car because her baby is trapped under it. Just out of nowhere, boom, the system operates like you're seeing right here in this picture, and we're capable of doing things extraordinary. So let's say in our analogy with the bear that we run away. Whew, we're safe, we got away. The bear is gone. So now what happens is our body changes and it moves over to the other branch of it's technically our autonomic nervous system, but you don't have to know that. You just need to understand that there are two branches. One is a stress mode and one is a healing mode. They're technically parasympathetic and sympathetic branches of the autonomic system, but I just want you to understand that there is a stress mode and that there is a healing mode. So when we run away from the bear and we now are in a safe environment, we feel safety, we begin to breathe deeper with the belly and the diaphragm instead of shallow up here in the chest and the shoulders. The blood pressure goes down, digestion begins, and this is where we heal. This is where we repair. And a lot of this happens at night when we're asleep. It's what's supposed to happen when we're asleep. So in this picture right here, I want you to understand that the way it's supposed to work is we run away from the bear, and when the threat is gone, we transition back into this healing mode. Now, you would think that you want to live in this healing mode, right? This is where you're supposed to stay. The problem is that we don't live in a world that promotes this. I'm supposed to just jump over into stress response when I have a problem, but that's not the world that you live in. You and I don't live there. We live in this fast-paced, get it done, instant gratification, everything right now. It's on my smartphone. I'm bombarded from all angles all the time with these stress-inducing signals. So it ends up not working the way it's supposed to, and we end up getting stuck. So I'm going to show you in this analogy here how we get stuck in this stress mode. And I'm going to tell you this story just real quick. I call it my bills bear, and you're going to chuckle. Just like the way your physical body would react and respond to a threat from a bear. If there's a bear coming to eat me, I had this experience happen to me one day just going to get the mail. And here's what happened. I walk up to the mailbox, open it up, I pull it out. It's full of bills. Okay, there are 4 bills in the mailbox. And at the time, I only have enough money to pay for 3. So I don't have enough money. And immediately what happens is my brain short circuits and it shifts into that stress mode. So right there, while I'm holding pieces of paper, my body is beginning to react like I'm being attacked by a bear. And you know what I'm talking about. You've had these experiences. If you've ever been in traffic and somebody does something, and it's bad, and that's why there's a saying, road rage. It's because people, this is an easy place for them to just have that short circuit, that short fuse, and boom, they're off to the races in this aggressive attack fighting type of stress mode. So what happened to me was I'm looking at the bills, and I know that I don't have enough money for all of them. So I'll even say first, what I could have done was say, wow, this is great. I have enough money for 3 of these bills, and I'm going to call the 4th, the company, and I'm going to tell them, that I'm working on it and that things are going great. And next month I'll actually have the money on time. I'll set up a payment plan, and life is awesome. I'm so blessed and so excited. See, I could have done that, and I could have stayed in a healing mode, but I didn't do that. And most of us, not only do we know, we know to do that, right? But we don't do it. And it's it's our programming. It's because of not only the stimulus around us in our world, but it's because of these past experiences that have us just reacting to life without even thinking, just like a knee-jerk thing. We just, boom, we go right into it. And so that's what happened. When I looked at these bills, I went, oh my goodness, I don't have enough for the electric bill. They're going to shut off my power. I won't be able to recharge my beard trimmer, and I'm going to look shaggy, and I'm going to get fired from my job. And if I get fired, I won't be able to pay the rent, and I'll lose the house, and I'll lose the car, and now I live under a bridge, and I'm dead. It sounds really dramatic, but that's the way your mind goes. In like 1 millisecond, you go from, I can't pay this bill, to I live under a bridge and I'm going to die. And it's funny. I know that you do it too, because you're human. And I've worked with enough people to know that we all do this. It's in our wiring. And the reason that I'm sharing this story about my bills bear with you is because we all have bears. We all have our own bills bears. Okay. And they come at us from all directions all the time. So sometimes it's your bills, or it's something else. It's work. Sometimes it's, the neighbor. Sometimes it's a money bear. Here comes a money bear to stress you out. Oh, I don't have the finances. I can't pay the bills. I want, nicer things, and I just don't have the money. The family is a big one too. You gotta love them, but sometimes they can really test test you. I'll just say that. But you know what I mean. That it is it's a stressor from the environment that creates a response in your body, just like the Bills bear did. And they come from everywhere. Sometimes it's your health and it's pain that you're going through. Sometimes it's relationships, and then sometimes it's a really big thing. So these are, like, I'll call them little things. I mean, not to diminish them, but sometimes it's a big deal. Sometimes it's like you're in a relationship with somebody and you think it's going this way, and all of a sudden it goes that way, and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? I'm completely floored. I did not see that coming, and you're not ready for it, and it's a big, big deal for you. Or something like the loss of a loved one. You know, they go home and you're not ready for it. And there's a lot of emotion. It's a big deal for you. So here's what happens. If you look at the picture here, all of these things are sort of coming in all the time, and the pilot is like, I don't know who to listen to. There's just too many messages, so guess what? I'm closing the door, and I'm not listening to any of you. You're all shut off, and the door slams shut. Now, this is, if you don't get any of this at all, get this right now, okay? When that door is slammed shut, nothing from your present time environment can get through to the subconscious. The subconscious is on lockdown. It's saying, I don't want to hear it. There's just too many things going on in the environment. I am cutting you off. And we literally stop our ability to process from present time information. We lose our ability to function the way we were supposed to. Remember, I showed you that first, how it's supposed to work, and we get stuck doing this. The pilot runs a constant stress response from memory. It can't get the information from present time, so it pulls it from memory, and it takes whatever experience that you are having at the time that was, maybe it was a big deal like we talked about in a very intense thing, but most likely it was just a ton of little things that just kept piling up and piling up on you until you hit your threshold, until you finally short-circuited. And this is what happens when, like, some little thing happens and people snap. Like, we don't put wooden spoons in the dishwasher, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's a huge deal and it's a big fight. And it just comes out of nowhere over some little thing, okay? What I'm saying is, when the door slams shut and we short circuit, the pilot now is going to run our body and run our life from information stored in memory that is going to create a stress response. And it's going to happen all the time. It's going to be 24/7. It sounds very simple, and that's because it is. This is a real simple concept. And what we're going to dive into in the 5 steps of forgiveness is how we open that doorway back up, and how we reframe and reprogram even our mind, so that the memory of those past experiences and those events is one that serves us, one that helps us stay in a function of healing and allows us to expand and reach our potential. The only way you're going to create your dream life is when you're functioning out of this healing place, when you are in a vibration of love and joy and bliss and abundance, not closed down, not shut off, not stressed out, not in defense and protection. It's when we are open. It's when our arms open and we are vulnerable and we expose our heart that we're able to step into the creation of what it is that we see our life becoming. This picture right here is the root cause of every single patient I see in my office. They are emotionally shut down, short-circuited, and their body is on lockdown. Kind of like you would imagine in a prison. If they sound the alarms and someone escaped, they're going to just lock everything down so that nothing can move at all. We're going into stress mode. So if you can see this right here, then you're getting it. And you're gonna really excel here in our next section, because as we step into forgiveness, I want you to think back to this picture, and I want you to think about the steps that you're going through are about you opening that trap door and shifting yourself into a healing and loving vibration. Because you see, this is exactly what happened to me when I was 17 and that football coach grabbed me and drug me in the hallway and slammed me in the lockers. I was reading a book and I was somewhere else. I got bushwhacked. He jerked me out of that world that I was in inside of my book, drugged me out in the hall, and totally short-circuited me. So what ended up happening for me was every time I would think about that day or that coach, all of the old emotions would come back. Anytime I would have a memory of that, I would play the tape, and the pilot would throw my body into the stress response. It's as simple as that. I would play the tape. You know the saying, they really push my buttons? It's what it means. It's that they know how to push play on your tapes and get you to act it out. Family is really good. They know just how to push your buttons. But what I'm saying here is that I, in that moment, shut down and I was stuck there. So I can look back on that now and realize and understand what was happening. But in the moment, I didn't get it. If I had known what I know now, I would have been able to handle that differently. I would have been able to process that and store it in my memory bank in a different way than I did. So that now, or I shouldn't say now, but so that I was able to think of it and feel good. That's really the point that I want you to understand. Because for years, I did not feel good about it. I thought of it and I was angry. And it wasn't even like I didn't have to think of the coach in that day. I could drive by a school and it would like trigger the memory. I could see somebody, when wearing athletic clothes, and they kind of reminded me of the coach, and I would go right back to it and it would play out. And I knew that it was not only affecting my body, impacting my health, but it was trashing my vibration. The idea of being in a mindfulness state of hating someone and being angry and wanting revenge and wanting to get even is not conducive with me expanding, with me growing and being in a state of love and being able to create guided by my intention versus being guided by all of the things that I don't want in my life. And this gets even better here because what we're about to dive into is the 5-step formula to forgiveness. I want to take a second right here just to clarify when I'm talking about memory and things that have been stored in our subconscious, have been stored in our emotional memory, that have been stored in a way that they can be triggered and we can sort of act out and play out the tape, the same way people push our buttons. This is what I call a set point. So it's SET, subconscious emotional trigger, or set points. And these set points are the keys that sort of start the engine for us. Okay, so we are full of these set points. We've been establishing them our entire life. So basically, I'm saying there's a ton of past set points that we've created, and in the process that we're about to dive into here, we're going to talk about how you clean up some of the old set points. But I want to emphasize for you here how powerful and how important, how vital it is for you to begin building new set points that are positive and that reinforce the things that you're striving to attain, the stuff that you want to achieve. I know from personal experience that people want to run right to the How do I clean up and clear up my signal and, get rid of the old set points? And they want to go into fixing mode and fix, which is okay. And it's an important step. But what I'm telling you is that if you can begin to focus on the other side of the coin and how you're going to build new set points, new powerful, reinforcing, high vibrational set points, then you get to this point to where the scale tips. And, you might have more negative ones than positive ones right now. But as you build more positive and more positive and more positive, it gets to a point where it's like a landslide. And the positive work that you've done begins to be the healing therapeutic effort that you're looking for. So when I show you the picture of the brain here, and now we get into the 5 steps, I need you to understand that it's about giving you that extra oomph and bumping you up so that you begin broadcasting a different vibration. Man, I hope you guys are excited. I hope that you're digging that, because there's something really, really powerful about those lessons that we just went through. If you can understand the way that experiences happen to you in your life and the way that those kick back on you and show up in a way that is just full of, I guess reinforcement is the word. It just like continues to reinforce your stuff, your thing. Pat says, I call it being stuck on stupid. Yeah, it kind of is being stuck on stupid. In fact, I just got a message from someone during the video saying that I was telling a story in there about going to the mailbox and getting the bills. And I could have done this positive thing where I was like, yay, I have enough money to pay for 3 out of 4 of these bills. This is great. I'll call the 4th company and I'll work out a plan and I'll work out a payment and everything's going to be okay. But I didn't do that. So someone sent me a message and they said, I actually did that with AT&T, with the internet and all that stuff, my phone internet or whatever it was. And that's what happened. I did the right thing and they went, oh, okay, that's cool. And not to reduce like the law of attraction to being manipulative to get what you want, but I'm telling you, you can use it to get what you want, especially in dealing with like customer service or people like that. They respond really well to that. I think that in the world of like someone, their job is to be on the phone and to deal with angry people all the time, that if you totally come out of left field and catch them off guard and they say, hello, my name is Jessica. How can I help you today? And you say something like, hi, Jessica. Dale Carnegie said, everyone has a sign on their forehead that says, make me feel important. And the most important or the best way to make someone feel important is like remembering their name. You call somebody by their name, they're going to go, they're going to short circuit. And they're going to then move forward differently with you. Hi, Jessica. How are you today? Well, what do you mean, how am I? No one asked me how I am. What do you mean, how am I today? Okay. So it's just awesome that I just wanted to share that. Like during the video, someone sent me a message saying, this is true. This worked for me yesterday. Okay. So I'm not the only one saying, I'm not this crazy guy in my back office just saying all this stuff. Okay. So we're going to transition now that you understand really, if you can grasp or wrap your head around this picture, this little video I showed you with the pictures and how we store things in memory, then ultimately our goal is how we open the trap door back up again. See, most people are living their life with the trap door closed. Something happened to them in their past when they were kids, when they were teenagers, whatever it was. They're stuck there and the door is stuck shut. So above the door in the conscious mind, they're doing all of this work. They're reading books. They're going to seminars. They're paying a lot of money to fly around and learn from XYZ guru. And the information that is supposed to go through the trap door and be assimilated, it can't get through. The information cannot get through. That's why I'm saying This is really why I'm saying that you have to understand this part, because what we're trying to do is open the trap door. We're trying to get to this spot, okay? So I've got some slides that kind of guide me through this next part here. And I do this big warning thing here. It is kind of cheesy, but it's just enough to get your attention to say, hey, look, what we're about to talk about right now is the most important part. And if you don't get it, then you might as well not even be here. All right. So let me invite you to get really hyper focused right now and pay attention, because this is the stuff that helps you kind of dial in, your knobs, if you're flying the airplane and you have all the gauges and everything. This is what gets you where you want to go. This is how you bring in the vibration. You bring in the high vibration and begin to broadcast that stuff so that you are aligned with people, places, circumstances, stuff, experiences that resonate with the broadcast that you're putting out, so that you can get the things that you want. That's what this is about. This is about the feeling of a life. This is about a desire that we have. This is about us stepping into showing up in a way different. And the way we do that is through these 5 steps, okay? So here we go. We're going to the 5 steps. But before I go right into step 1, I want you to understand that this is not like really anything that you have seen or heard or whatnot. Because, give me a second here. I want you guys to be able to see the screen. I think I messed that part up. Yeah. I'm going to show you that. Okay. So I call these 5 steps for giving. Okay. And excuse me, I do that for a reason. I do that because this is not like anything that you've heard. You don't know what this is. I'm not trying to just rehash some crap for you. This is what I had to do in order to get good with some of the BS that's happened in my past. Not only just the story of the coach grabbing me off of the locker. There's another fantastic story, I guess it's fantastic, that I could tell you about traveling from Canada back to Arkansas on an airplane with my grandfather, my uncle, 2 uncles, my dad, and my uncle, and my cousin. And we got home at 11:30, and I walked into the airport terminal, and there were 12 TSA police officers there ready to wrestle me to the ground and arrest me like I was some violent criminal or something. A whole nother story. I'm sure that you're curious now, but the only reason I bring that up is there's just tons of stuff that's happened in your life, in my life. I'm only isolating this one example just to hit it home for you, okay? So this idea of forgiveness, it's not about you trying to connect with people, because I know in the 12 steps program, my name is so-and-so and I'm an addict or an alcoholic or whatever. They tell you to go call everyone and talk to them. And I say, oh boy, I'm really sorry I did that thing, or, and try to do forgiveness that way. And I'm saying, no way, no how, dude. We're not doing it that way. This is not about you trying to go find people and talk to them and, who cares? In fact, some of these people that you might have issues with are not alive anymore. So you don't have to actually go talk to anyone. This isn't about you and someone else, okay? This is about a relationship that you have with a memory. This is something that's stored in your memory. This is between you and your subconscious memory. It's your set points, okay? Forgiveness is a tool that you use to create a different relationship between you and a memory that you have in the past, between you and your set points. So I'm going to start hammering this idea of set points because it's the foundation of a lot of the things that I teach. So when we go through all of these things here, and the story that I told you earlier, I want to relate these things back so that you see each step along the way of our 5 steps and how I applied them to the story that I told you. All right, you guys ready to go? Come on, tell me. Are you ready? Are you feeling it? Are you feeling good? Are you bored? Should I just quit and go home? All right, there we go. I'm just teasing you a little bit. Okay. So our first step number 1, is you forgive yourself. This one, I think, is the toughest one for everybody. And the reason why is because the one that we're the hardest on is ourselves. We tend to like really hold ourselves to these standards and whatnot. And it's usually not realistic, okay? So in step 1, we forgive ourselves. And what I want you to do is cut yourself some slack. The day that I had, with the coach there when I was in high school, me forgiving myself was almost like, I'm out of the scenario. I'm just observing. I'm saying, hey, Ted, you really need to forgive yourself, all right? You were kind of being a jackass. You were walking around with your big baggy pants. You were staring at the floor. You wouldn't look anyone in the eye. You wouldn't even talk to them. If they said hi to you, you would just go, "Ugh." You weren't trying to do anything good. You weren't trying to make the best of the situation. You weren't trying to say, wow, here I am in this new opportunity. I don't even know what's going to happen. I'm so excited because everything works out for me for my best. And I wasn't playing that tape in my head. My set points weren't positive and reinforcing and motivating. They were defeating. They were self-sabotaging. They were detrimental. They were destroying me. And I just kept repeating them and repeating them. So I get to say to myself in this situation, hey, I forgive myself. I wasn't really trying to do my best. And it's okay. It's okay, 17-year-old Ted. We all make mistakes and we all learn from it. So I play a role that day. I forgive myself. So in whatever scenario I asked you earlier to think of, whatever idea that you pulled into your head, when I said, what's something that has you stuck in the past? Okay. How can you forgive yourself for the role you played in that? How can you cut yourself some slack? How can you say, all right, I could have maybe done something different, better? This is a tough one. It really is. That's probably why it's number 1. So this is step number 2. This is the next step. And it's to forgive the other. So I say other because sometimes other isn't someone. It's not a person. And that's kind of why I just told you a little bit about that story about how I came off the airplane and the police got me. And it was because of something related to a marijuana charge from 3.5 years prior that I didn't even know existed. And I had, proactively gone to check and make sure that, with the sheriff office that I wasn't, like have something outstanding. And I applied for a passport. I'm going into another story now. But the reason that I'm telling you that is because I couldn't be mad at those police officers. I couldn't be mad at the county sheriff where I lived. I couldn't be mad at the passport agency. See, it wasn't a person. There wasn't like this. It wasn't like my sister that did something to me. There's a person there, and it's easier to sort of label them and to get mad at them and put it all on them. This was a situation, right? Sometimes you've been at a job and all of a sudden there's a big layoff. The branch closes. You show up for work and everyone's standing outside holding cardboard boxes saying, the office is closed, go home. So there's no one to be mad at. It's a situation. So if you have a situation instead of a person, I'm just saying that's okay. But you have to forgive them. Oh, you gotta have forgiveness for the other. So this is where I introduce something called the understanding game. And go with me on this. This is powerful. I'll tell you a simple example first. If I'm driving down the road and some crazy person is weaving in and out of traffic on the highway and driving like a jerk and definitely endangering the lives of people, driving dangerously, I'm not, my first reaction used to be to get really upset and get mad, even like speed up or slow down to try and box them in, to block them so they would be trapped behind some big truck or something and they would be going nuts. How do I get around this truck? And I would just sort of laugh. Ha ha, I showed you, which I'm not exactly sure what I was showing them. But in that scenario, what I've learned to do now with my intention, with my energy, with the way I project outwards, is to say, you know what, I bet you that guy is on the way to the hospital because his wife, he got a text message that says, the water broke, I'm in labor, the baby is coming, you have 20 minutes, the doctor says. And he's trying to get there to see his son be born or his daughter come into the world. Like, he doesn't care about being polite on the highway. He's trying to get somewhere, and really what he needs is someone to understand where he's at and to help him out. So I'll play the understanding game. And what I learned to do with the coach was to play the understanding game. And I tried to go, maybe the way he was acting isn't about me at all. Maybe I'm not a jerk and I'm not a loser and I'm not a punk kid. Maybe he's going through some stuff. And the fact that he acted that way wasn't even about me. It was about him. Maybe he's in a situation where he feels belittled and no one's respecting him. So he needs some outlet to show his authority. He needs some way to feel like he's in charge. In hindsight, after playing this understanding game, I was able to connect with friends from that high school, years and years later, and found out, they say, hey, Ted, you remember that coach? I'm like, yeah, I remember. And see, let me just go on a side note here. You can't forget stuff. It's impossible for you to forget something. If I tell you to forget something, you have to first think of the thing you're supposed to forget before you can remember that you're not supposed to think about it. So you already thought about it. So forgetting doesn't work. I'm trying to tell what we're going to end up doing is changing the set point around this memory so that we're not trying to forget it. We're trying to remember it. We're excited that it happened. We are happy that it took place because it changed us. It transformed us. It made us better, right? So just stick with me here because we're going to get to that idea. You may be thinking right now, this isn't a great thing. Okay, fine. We'll get there. Excuse me. So what I found out later from these friends was that he actually had been going through a horrible divorce. He had been going through he lost the house and his wife and got the children. He turned into like a bachelor guy in an apartment. He couldn't afford to drive his Mercedes anymore, so he had a beat up car or whatever. The guy was at a point in his life that was not happy. There were a lot of things that had come to fruition for him that were not serving his higher benefit or higher good. He was kind of paying the price for actions that he had taken in the past. I'm assuming that. But the idea is that I was playing the understanding game and actually was going through the things I thought I was imagining to play the understanding game. That was his real life. He was struggling. There was heartache. There was pain. That guy was raw. And I know that in moments when I'm that way, I can snap. I can just flip on something. I've been really edgy and stressed out about a new product that I'm launching that's going to launch on Monday. That's about the law of attraction and about the Bible and how they're saying the same thing. And I've been doing testing on it for months and months to tweak everything and to make sure that it is right before I go out and find all of my, internet affiliate friends and tell them to help me share the word and the message. So I've just been tense, and yesterday was a really tough day. So I was walking into the store and I bought a can of Coke in the machine outside of the grocery store. And I asked my wife to put it in her purse so that I wasn't walking around the store holding it. She said, "Oh no, we can't bring that in. We need to take it to the car." And immediately I had to snap. I was like, "No, I'm not going to walk all the way back to the car. Just put it in your purse." She said, "No, they're going to think we stole it if it's in my purse." I said, "That's ridiculous. No, they won't. Give it to me. I'll put it in my back pocket." And I grabbed it from her, and she got mad, and I got mad, and we both took this stance against each other. I put that Coke in my back pocket, and I walked into the store, and she said, "I'm going to go wait in the car." And it was a fight, really, a stupid thing that blew up over nothing. And these moments happen to us all the time. Okay, I promise you, I don't care if you're saying, "No, those don't happen to me. I live in a different world than you." That's not true. You're human. You have an ego. You have this sense of being correct and right and being in control. It's human nature. It is part of our psychology, and it is part of our wiring. So I dare say that our goal in life is to break free from that. And so some people are further on that process, but it's still primal, it's instinctual, it's encoded. And so, it took a few hours to like get over a dumb fight, to go, "Hey, that was dumb. Yeah, that was dumb. I love you." And to connect again. See, what I think my spiritual work has enabled me to do is to be able to just all of a sudden step back away from all that and go, it's not a big deal. But I had to get stuck in a lot of moments to learn that it actually was a huge deal. I had to get stuck again and again and again, and then do this process to get unstuck from it so that I was able to move forward. See, it's a simple. It's okay to have a fight. It's okay to blow up. It's okay to snap, because it is part of the experience. Okay, if you just come here and have all these positive, lovey, blissful emotions, that is like boring. There's no contrast. You know hot because you know cold. You know summer because you know winter. And the only reason that you can pretend to walk around and be blissed out all the time is because you know what it feels like to be angry, depressed, pissed off, to feel powerless, to feel betrayed, to have apathy, to feel lonely. Those are real emotions, and I welcome every one of them just as much as I do the other ones, and I hope that you understand that. Okay, that was one of those rabbit trails that we go off on. So it was really about me playing the understanding game. It was about me understanding that this person was going through their own stuff, and it was about them, and it wasn't about me. It wasn't about me at all. So I did that with the coach. And what I did was I forgave him for the role he played. I'm like, "You know what? You acted like a real jerk, but I forgive you because there was a lot of other things that were a lot bigger and a lot more important than me and the role I played in that." So far, we've gone through the first two steps. I forgive myself for being a punk. I forgive him for being a jerk, and realizing that through the understanding game that he was going through his own stuff. It wasn't about me. Really, it was him dealing with his set points. It was him wrestling with his past. It was him being anchored and stuck in the experiences of his own past. And he, like a broken record, was playing out all of his triggers, all of his set points, just playing again and again. So we'll move along. We'll get into the third step. So the third step here, just going to stop sharing the screen for a second and check in with you guys. You guys are dropping off on me. I'm not doing this for fun, just for me, okay? Let me know where you're at. I turned the thing off and we went from 13 people to 7 people. Okay. We're going to keep grooving. All right. So I'm going to jump back. And so we've gone through the first 2 steps. Okay. So let's dive into step number 3. I'm just going to share the whole screen here. La, 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 la. The vortex begins. Okay. So the next one is this like role reversal. Like I forgave me, I forgave the coach. So now I'm going to give the coach permission to forgive me. And be like, coach, I need you to be okay with me. And really this is like covering, I guess, all of the angles. I don't know if that's true, but a lot of times this is the thing I hear people say. They say, I didn't do anything wrong. It was the other person that did the wrong thing. Why am I apologizing? Why is it me? Why do I have to be the one? Give them permission to forgive me. Well, guess what? It takes 2 to tango. All right? Maybe you aren't such a peach. Maybe being around you isn't so awesome. Maybe sometimes you're kind of a snooty, short, fill in the blank. Okay. So what I did was I just let it go. I'm like, I give the coach permission to forgive me because I was a brat. I was a jerk. I was a punk. I was a snot-nosed kid. I was walking around with a bad attitude and like daring people to call me out on it. So he did. He called me out. All right. So I forgive you for just sort of like in a fishing analogy. I forgive you for taking the bait because you took it, and that's cool. So the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm doing this by myself. All right. I'm not calling him up. I'm not on the phone with him. I'm not saying, hey, you're cool. Everything you did is okay. It's not realistic. It's not real. And it's not even about him. It's about me and my set point. I know that there are some things that have happened to you in your past that you're never going to get over. You're never going to forget them. You're never going to be able to just say, oh, it happened and whatever, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. Okay? Forgetting and moving on is not what works. Forgiveness is not about that. Forgiveness is not about forgetting and moving on. And it's never, never, never about saying what they did is okay. It's about you. It's about your old junk. It's about your freedom. Okay? Imagine putting on a backpack full of rocks and trying to climb a hill. It's crazy. It's stupid. This is about you freeing yourself from the anchors that you have tied into your past with your subconscious emotional triggers. It's the stuff that you have stored deep, deep in the limbic brain. See, I had triggers that would set those things off. I would drive by a school and I would think about that coach. I would walk past some red lockers because the lockers he slammed me in were red, and I'd go nuts. Right? I would sometimes I would even like just see a football coach or it's a football game on TV. I'd go nuts. I'd think about that guy because it was a trigger. It was a trigger. And what I'm encouraging you to do is to reframe and reprocess those things. So those are the first 3 steps that build up here to step 4. All right, are you ready? Step 4, you learn a lesson from the encounter. You learn something. You see the good it provided you. Okay? It's like if I'm trying to walk from here to there in a straight line and something gets in my way, well, I get mad. I'm like, that's not supposed to happen. But here's what ends up happening after the fact. I have to walk around the obstacle that's in my way. And from this around path, I'm in this new place and I have a new perspective of the landscape. I see things in a different way. I'm able to understand, to see, to appreciate, to learn, and to know what I'm dealing with from a new angle and a new perspective. So by definition, the things that are obstacles in your life, they're not problems. They're not situations. They're not obstacles. They are like golden nuggets. They're like little teachers trying to shove you off of the path that you think you're supposed to be on, to get you on the path that you actually are supposed to be on so that you can learn something. Okay, you've got to learn a lesson. You have to see the good. You have to find the silver lining. You have to feel okay about what happened. So I love this analogy of looking for gold, because there's these TV shows that are great where people bring in these giant there's even a great one called Bering Sea Gold, where they go scuba diving for the gold. And I'm hooked on the show. It's fascinating. But they move thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of dirt. They move it all. They move tons of dirt just to find one little tiny gold nugget. Okay, so guess what? They're not looking for dirt. They're looking for gold. And if you, in your mind, if you aren't looking for gold and you're looking for dirt, you'll find that dirt everywhere, man. Everything sucks all around you. It's doom and gloom. The economy, the president, those politicians, that local POA, the city council, the teachers at the school, my son's daycare, all of that stuff. It's so easy to just go wham, wham, wham. Though it's dirt everywhere. But it's the rare exception. It is the exceptional person. It's the successful, energetic, the magnanimous, the larger than life individual that is looking for gold all the time, that is infectious. That person will hook you and pull you in. They'll just like be so exciting to be around, because they are looking for gold, and you can feel it and you know it. It's in their body language and in their posture. It's in their words. It's in their attitude and their demeanor and in their energy and in the frequency and in the vibration that they are permeating and putting out into the world. It is one that's saying life is wonderful and I can't wait to find it. I'm looking for it. I want to see it. Where's the gold? I don't care about the dirt. There's dirt everywhere. Anyone can find dirt. I'm hunting for gold. I'm hunting for the gold. Are you doing that? Are you? Are you? Are you looking for dirt, or are you looking for gold? It's real easy to find dirt. Make sure that you're the kind of person that is not like trapped by all of your stuff from the past, and you're using your mind proactively in a way with like a boulder that you're beginning to get rolling, like a snowball that rolls downhill. It's tiny at first and it rolls and then it just takes off, and then it's just a monster that you can't stop. That giant pile of dirt that so many people are looking for is a metaphor for their set points. It's just them looking at all their problems from the past and mirroring all of it and echoing and repeating all of that crap. If you can look for the lesson, you'll find it. You'll find it. I learned by looking for the lesson with the coach. I learned to just like soften, to understand, to feel where he was at. That's called empathy. I've been in those situations. I'm sure my story is different than his, but the feelings are the same. I know what it feels like to be all alone. I know what it feels like to be betrayed, to feel like everyone's just got it out for you and nothing that you do is going to help you. You can't win for nothing. I know what that feels like. And I was able in that scenario to generate a vibration of love, and a type of love that isn't romantic, but is unconditional. Do you guys see the video that I sent out in the email this morning? If not, you can email me and I'll send it to you again. Just a little 2-minute video I made just about the idea of powerful vibrations of love. And it's a lesson that's really true to me, and a big piece of my heart. It was this guy. This horrible thing that happened to me actually turned out to be the best thing that ever happened. right? So when you're in moments in your life and you feel like it's all going wrong and the house is falling apart and you don't know what else to do, that's when you pop the champagne. That's when you begin to celebrate. You say, you know what? This right now seems like the worst thing that's ever happened to me in my life, but I know everything works out for my best. Everything works out for my good. Everything is in my favor. There's an incredible lesson here, and I can't wait to find out what it is. I'm so excited. I don't see it right now, but I know it's coming, and I know I'm going to get it, right? You can feel that. You can feel the energy of that. You understand, you know it. That is a different place to be than to be anchored into the negative stuff from our past. When we assume responsibility, there's this magical thing that happens. So I realize, like I said earlier, that the stuff people do is not about them. It's about me. It's about learning a lesson. It's about seeing the good. So here's something someone threw at me once. They said, hey, Ted, I was the son, my father was an alcoholic. I was the son of a drunk. And he used to come home and just beat me, beat the crap out of me. Lots of times my mom would try to hide me in the cupboard just to protect me from him. He'd get a hold of me and he would just beat me up and down. How is that good, Ted? Where's the lesson there, Ted? Where's the silver lining of my father beating the hell out of me, Ted? How am I supposed to think about that and feel good, Ted? Okay, it was this. I mean, this is something that really happened, and it just like a knee-jerk reaction, just instantaneously. This is what I said. Let me stop sharing the screen here for a second. This is what I said. That type of abuse is notoriously known for being generational. I'm sure that your father was beaten by his father, and his father, beat him, and his father beat him, and they just pass it down, and pass it down, and pass it down, and pass it down. Okay, so what if you are the one that stops all of it? What if you are the one to say, you know what? Here's what I learned out of it. I learned how that feels. It's awful. I don't ever wish that on anybody ever. And so right now in this moment, the silver lining is me making a decision that I will never treat anyone that way. I will never do that to another person. Right? Yeah. So what if the silver lining there is you actually use your mind to pull yourself out of all that crap? What if you were the one that says enough is enough? It stops here with me. The chain ends now. It's not going to be my son and my next son and my next son and my next son. It's not going to be any of those things at all. See, right then, boom, generations of people are saved. That's the silver lining. That's the lesson. That's the impact. That's your ability to influence your surroundings and your world, and secondarily, the creations that you pass along. The things that you co-create, the energy that you lend to other people's lives, the influence and guidance, the gift that you have from your lessons and your wisdom, so that they don't have to go off and repeat the same things and try and learn it on their own. See, what if you not only stopped it from happening in generations in your family, but you also reached out to other people that were victims of abuse, and you shared your lesson and you showed them what you learned, and you brought the silver lining to them and said, hey, don't look for the dirt, look for the gold. There's something awesome here. If you'll just be brave, and if you'll just if you'll pick it up, if you will. It's really hard. I'm not in that position. I did not grow up that way, and I can never pretend to relate or know what that feels like. I can't. I don't pretend to. What I'm saying is that there's power inside of that. There's so much power there. And if you can reach out to other people and they can stop the lineage of the problem persisting, then you have this ripple effect out into the world. And you, through your decision to just go, I know how that feels and I will never do that to anyone else, you just saved thousands and thousands of people's lives. Maybe sometimes the lesson is as simple as, I know how that feels when someone does it to me, so I will never do that to somebody else. I will never. Right now, I'm declaring It was like when I was washing those dishes in the kitchen, thinking about the football coach and getting all mad. I stopped. I was so mad. I was like, this is killing me. I'm tired of this. I'm done. I have to figure something else out. I got to find the gold. I got to find the lesson. I got to find the nugget. And that's what set me on this path. That is like the fire had to get so hot that I finally got uncomfortable enough. And this is where I landed. It's not like I was some expert on this stuff or something. I just got myself into a situation and I figured out a way to resolve and to solve it, to create something new, because that is what we are. We are co-creators. We influence, we impact our life. And it happens here in the brain and it happens here in the field. So, potato, potato. I'm not going to say either way. Okay, so let's jump into the fifth step. And the fifth step really, I'll just talk to you guys. The fifth step, and this is the litmus test, okay? This is how you know if you did it right. If you want to know if you did it right, this is how you know, okay? You have to be able to think about that situation and feel good. It's that simple. My grandfather would tell a story. He was doing a seminar, a 3-day treatment seminar called Health Week. And I do a lot of those too. If you're interested, you can always shoot me an email and ask about coming to see me and getting treatment. That's not what this is about, though. He said that he had a woman in there and he taught her the steps of forgiveness, and she went to bed that night and she did her journal and she came back in the morning and he said, all right, why don't you share with the group? How did you do with that? She said, you know what? I did really well and I forgave her. And he said, really? Well, what did you write down in the exercise? And she said, Martha, I forgive you, you bitch. And then she just started laughing, and everyone in the room started laughing. And it was just like a moment of her trying to pretend like she had figured it out, but she just couldn't stand it. She couldn't even lie to a room of strangers. She had to say, I forgive you, beep. So if you really want to know if you've done this process right, then you got to be able to think about the person, the situation, the other, the thing, whatever it is. You got to be able to think about it and you got to feel good, right? You have to be able to think of the other and be filled with love and joy and bliss and abundance and gratitude and thankfulness for the experience that happened, because you learned so much and you're a different person, and it's forced you to show up to your life in a different way, in a different version of who you are, because you now have assimilated this new lesson and information, and you've expanded in your awareness and your consciousness and your understanding of others so that you can empathize with them and you can bring their experiences in and help them integrate and learn more. And it just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And it's so exciting when you finally get it. It's so empowering. It's so awesome. And I want that for you. I do. I want that for you. Are you guys having fun? Okay, we've been going at it for an hour and 45 minutes now. So give me 10 minutes here. I want to talk to you guys about something. And I want to talk to you about a program, a course that I've created, something that has been out there for a while. And I'm actually I'm in the works of totally redoing this thing. And I would love for you guys to take a step or take a leap and to jump into this program and give me, be my spies and give me a bunch of feedback on it. So this is it's a program that I sell for $300. And as I go through and rework it, it's probably going to double in price. I'm going to put a lot of video training and such into it. A lot of things that I don't really get into too much in our fireside chats here, our weekly webinars. But it's going to touch on a lot of those concepts. But it's a course that deals with this concept of set points and how we not only break free from past things, but how we move forward in creating new, positive, powerful set points, okay? So I just want to stay with me for just a minute. I'm going to pull up a few of these slides. And it's a course that's called Window to the Mind. And if you guys have hung around me long enough, then you know what the course is. So I'm going to go through it just a little bit here. Okay. Window to the Mind is really a system that I put together. And as I teach you guys all these lessons and it's all kind of random. Um, I think it seems random. Maybe it isn't, and it's perfect timing for you. But what I really like, the core message of all of the things that I want to share with you is about the field and about the subconscious. And I want to talk to you about how you take back the power that so many of us are wasting, the power that's generated from our subconscious brain. So it's constantly this broadcast sending stuff out that interferes with our ability to focus our energies. And if we're trying to create something that we want, our dream life, the things we desire, the stuff that we're moving towards, the dream board on our wall with all of the fun things, then you have to understand about the concept of set points, and most importantly, about building new set points. So if you've done other things here, and I've got some examples, like if you've done hypnosis kind of stuff, all right, this is going to work really well for you. Even if you're a super duper left brain kind of person, you've done a bunch of workshops and things that didn't work for you. If you're the kind of person that you think you're super positive and you're always looking for the positive in everything, okay, I'm telling you that there are some deeply rooted subconscious emotional triggers or set points that sabotage you. This is stuff that's taken place in your life in the past. And the most important thing that you can do is to build new positive and powerful set points. So I've given you some tools here about clearing the old ones. And in this program, I have an entire day-long seminar that I do about clearing old set points. I even walk you through a guided meditation on how to destroy those things. But it really comes down to this battle between our conscious and subconscious brain. It's this battle that prevents us from getting the results that we want. It's the battle that forces us to use the law of attraction incorrectly. So I'm interested in you learning how to take your power back. I'm interested, I guess it doesn't matter what I'm interested in, but what I'm saying this is enabling you to do is to feel differently, is to be different, is to be a different version of you and begin right now, this moment today, to live a different life. So this is something that I want to share with you. So give me just a few minutes here. There's some cool stories here. I'm already a very long time into this process, and I have to admit that you did a fantastic job here. I've achieved some serious results in my life, and now I feel like I can do even more. This is a gentleman in Switzerland that bought the course, and I was really intrigued by this because he says he's been doing this for a long time. Okay, so in my mind, I'm thinking this isn't like beginner level. I know that it's not, because I've been doing this process for a long time too. This one blew me away. This woman is a professional therapist, and using the foundations of set points, she said she was able to help clients break free from their past and move forward in a powerful way. And this one here from McKinney, I'm better able to respond to situations, good or bad, rather than just reacting based on my old programs. Here's the kicker. This is why I put it in. My family has noticed the old buttons they push don't have the same charge. Okay, so let me just show you a couple of the things that come along with the course. So in the second module, you're going to go through the foundation of using set points, and it includes the exact way to create new ones, and in a matter of instantaneously changing your frequency and your vibration. In module 5, I'm going to take you through the set point clearing to get rid of the outdated negative programs. This one right here is worth the price of admission, seriously. In that same module too, I want to show you what you do when you get super duper negative. When you're just really pissed off, when you're really sad, or when you're feeling powerless, or you're singing the victim song. How do you harness that? Because I promise you, happiness and bliss and love and joy, they're very light and airy. Whereas depression and anger and rage and apathy and the feeling of just being disconnected, those are intense, they are hard, they are fast, and they have a lot of power. I truly believe you should never ever shy away from your negative emotions. So I want to show you how you harness that stuff, how you harness those things so that you can concentrate them, point them at what you want. Okay, so this thing is a course. I told you this course is $297. I'm going to give you guys a better price for that today. So stay with me here just till the end, because there's another thing I'm going to throw in for you, and it is about the idea that's called epigenetics. And what epigenetics is how we inherit unresolved and unlearned lessons from our lineage, from our mother and our father, and from their grandparents and their grandparents. The same analogy I used of the abusive father passing it down to a son, to the next one, to the next one. If you feel like you're trying to do the right things, but continue to sabotage and bang your head against the wall and crash and burn because you don't know why, I'm telling you that a lot of it has to do with programming in our field that we inherited. It's not even your fault. And if you know this process and you know how to clear some of those things out that are stored in the etheric field, that are implants, I guess is one way to say it. I like to think of more as that we pass them down. The Bible says something along the lines of the sins of you become the sins of your 4 generations. Something along that line. I'm probably not saying that exactly right. Native Americans had a philosophy too, that anything that you healed in your life, you healed 7 generations in the past and in the future. So it's this idea of healing inherited problems and stopping ourselves from sabotaging what we're trying to do. Okay? This is how we move forward and get rid of the junk so we can be happy. So also in this course, I want to help you exactly show you how to define your dream and to do it the right way. Because if you don't, and if you're just I'm going to be a millionaire, and you put pictures on the wall of bars of gold and piles of cash, I promise you, you're working against yourself. You are using your set points, your negative set points, to dig a hole for you even deeper than you were in before you started with your dream board. You know, I tell you, 9 out of 10 people, you use kinesiology or muscle testing and you have them look at their dream board and they go weak because they don't believe it. They don't actually believe that they could get those things. It's just some dumb activity that some guru guy told them to do. Now, I'm not knocking dream boards. In fact, I spend an entire module showing you how to do dream boards correctly. But if you're just throwing up a bunch of stuff because you're in a frenzy about being successful in Ferraris and mansions, you are shooting yourself in the foot. Okay? So I told you that I sell this course for $297. You can go to drmorter.com and you'll see it right there, $297. But I'm going to give you guys a deal on this. I'm going to give you a deal for it. And I'm not even done telling you what I'm going to give you, because, you know, this is the powerful stuff right here. And these are the bonuses that add value to the concept of set points. Okay. It's not just a bunch of junk I'm throwing in to make it seem big. These are the lessons that I've had to go through and I've had to learn the hard way. So these things are here for you. I talked about epigenetic code. This one is called the 6 battlegrounds. And there are 6 areas in your life that you make choices in every day. These are the decisions that you make. These are the battlegrounds that you fight on each and every day. And there are 6 of them. They are what you eat, drink, exercise, rest, breathe, and think. Think being the most important one of all of them. And this is kind of a scorecard. If you don't know the score, then how do you know if you're winning? How do you know if you're progressing? How do you moving forward? I in my business, I have a mantra: those things that get measured get improved. So I put this together for you so you know the score. It's a way for you to measure and to know if you're moving forward. And I put a special, we'll call it a fast track guide. It's a cheesy name, I know, but it's a 10-day journal. It's one page each day that has you go through and recap not only a negative experience that happened in your past and what's a lesson you learned from it, but what's a horrible thing that took place today and what did you learn from it? Because I truly believe that and right now I'm going to tell you something. If you just get this, it's worth the 2 hours of our webinar, okay? When you go to bed at night, if you use that time, and this is what prayer was about, you sit down and you say your prayers before going to bed. It's really about you recapping the day and trying to figure out if there was anything that got under your skin, that was negative, that didn't serve you, that wasn't helpful for you. And then reprocessing that in a way and reframing it so that you learn something and you're happy that it took place. So when you go to bed, when you go to sleep at night, it's like storing everything on the hard drive. I promise you, it's a lot easier to deal with your problems in life if you catch them before you go to bed that night. Okay? And this is a guide to walk you through the steps and begin the habit of building new set points and creating a framework as you move forward each and every day so that you are habitually building positive, new, powerful set points. So all the bonuses, the course itself, it's over $400. What this means for you is I'm going to give you guys a deal on it, okay? So this means you're not going to pay the retail value, which is what you should be. I'm not even going to make you pay that much. You're going to get all of this stuff: Window to the Mind, the 6 battlegrounds, the epigenetic code, the subconscious success full day seminar, the guided meditation on clearing old set points, the module on harnessing negative emotions. You're going to get all of that stuff and all of the bonuses for $97. And the only way you're going to do that, the only way that you're going to do that, and I'm going to show you right now. Let me just hit the button to pull it up. You're going to click on the button right here in the toolbar. So for 24 hours, I'm going to extend this offer to you guys. I'm going to let you get all of it. Okay, so there's one more piece to it as well. So stay with me here. There's one more thing that I want to offer for you guys. And this is only for you guys here on the webinar right now. Okay? This is only for you. If you guys are watching this on the replay, I'm sorry, you don't get it. This is to reward you guys for being here right now. And if you take action before the timer runs out here, you're going to get a super duper duper throw in or a bonus here. And the bonus that I want to offer you guys, I want to offer this to you if you purchase now. If you feel like you want to do it, then go ahead and do it now. Click the button right here that says discount code WTTM97. It'll take you to the order form, and you have to put that code in, the promo code, because it's normally $297. So you put in capital W, capital T, capital M, 97. It stands for Window to the Mind. $97. You're going to get all of it for that price right there. And if you do that now while we're on the webinar, I'm going to throw in something awesome for you too. This is what I call my Inner Circle Coaching Series. So when I first launched this product, I had 4 weeks of webinars where I went through step by step showing isn't the right word, diving into deeper level conversations and application of what we went through in the course. Okay, so what I was able to do in the inner circle coaching was to spend several hours really honing in the principles and going deeper into the conversation of what I teach you inside of Window to the Mind. So I really want to encourage you to get this. I'm going to do something for you guys. If you're thinking about getting this, I want to let you know that there's a refund policy on it of 30 days. So if I call it the 30-day, no questions, no hassle, money back guarantee. If you don't like it, if it doesn't resonate with you, if you buy it and 28 days into it, you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, you can just send me an email. Just let me know that you want to have a refund, and I won't hassle you at all. I think you guys know me enough now anyway that I'm not really pushy about stuff, and I'm way over the top on giving and giving and giving you everything that I can. So today is an opportunity for you to go a little bit deeper. And I really, I want to tell you guys just a quick story here. I picked up, it was at a chiropractic seminar. My grandfather, he was a big dog in the chiropractic profession. He was the president of 2 colleges. And he was having a seminar, and it was here in Northwest Arkansas. So he had some people coming in to speak at the seminar, and he gave me the keys to his fancy car, and he said, go to the airport and pick up this one guy. This guy is important. So I'm there at the airport, and I'm holding a sign, and the guy gets in the car with me, and we're driving away, and I'm driving. He's sitting next to me, and he says, this is a really nice car. It was a 7 Series BMW. It looked like a giant great white shark. Had the fin on the top and everything. A really cool car. And he said, this is a nice car. And I said, yeah, this is a nice car. I like it. I probably wouldn't own one, though. And he looked at me kind of puzzled, and he said, why? And I said, well, this car costs a lot of money, all right? And for the amount of money that this car costs, I could buy 3 brand new cars. I could drive one, and then I could give 2 of them away to people that were in need, people that didn't have a car, people that were down on their luck, people that really needed it and needed some help. And he looked at me and he smiled and he said, that's really nice of you. And not a lot of people have that perspective in life. And so I was like, yeah, I'm awesome. I'm a philanthropist. I'm a giver. I care. And he said, I'm just curious, I wonder what would happen to those cars if you gave them to, you have 2 cars and you give them to 2 different people. Let's say you come back in a year. I wonder what those cars would look like in a year. And I said, they would look like cars. What do you mean? And he said to me, do you think that those cars would look brand new, or do you think they would look like they had been beaten up to about 5 or 10 years old? And I said, I don't know. I'm not sure what you're getting at. And he said something to me, and it stuck with me. All right. And I want to share that with you right now. What he told me was that if you don't have to work to get something, so if you don't have to work to get the money to buy a thing and you just get it for free, then you don't place a value on it. See, these people, they didn't have a car yesterday. Now they have a car all of a sudden. Well, if they don't have a car tomorrow because they beat it up or crashed it or something, who cares? It didn't even take me anything to get the car anyway. And he didn't say it quite as blunt as I'm just kind of laying it out right there. But what I took away from that, and it really had an impact on me, and I've heard other people kind of tell stories like that. So I was really happy that I actually had one happen to me. And what I realized was that even in my own life, like I saw this moving forward, that if I don't have skin in the game, like if I don't make an investment in myself, if I don't have any value on the line, then I don't care. I don't care about the result. I don't care about the work. I don't care about the transformation. I don't have anything in it energetically. I'm only taking I haven't given anything. And there's a law in our universe in this idea of reciprocity. There is a tide that comes in and it goes out, and it comes in and it goes out. It's not one way. That our sun comes up and then it goes down. And then the next day it comes up and the next day it goes down. And babies are born and elderly people pass away and go home. It's this ebb and flow and this balance that happens. And the same thing is true in our interaction with people at the store. There's giving and there's receiving. See, if you're the kind of person that's always giving your time, giving your stuff, giving everything away, time is the one thing in your life that you should be stingy about, because it's the only limited resource that we really have. People, they're penny pinch everything, but they just waste their time away with anyone and everyone. Do you think that I would be here now doing this if it wasn't serving you and serving me at the same time? See, it's giving and it's receiving. I'm learning. I learn a lot by just talking and speaking through things and talking out loud. Okay, it's the way that my brain works. It's the way that I do stuff, and I think that a lot of people might work that way too. So if you are the kind of person that's always giving, and then someone tries to do something nice for you, and you're like, no, it's okay, no, and you don't know how to receive, and you don't know how to get, and you don't know how to be abundant and take it in, and you're feeling in your life it's a sense of lack, and that it's just not lining up, that the world isn't delivering you what you up here are expecting, your expectation of how it's supposed to be. I'm telling you that you're probably violating this law. So go out there and receive. All right. Go out there and let people do nice things for you. And when they do, say thank you. One day I was wearing a suit and my dad said to me, he said, "You look really nice in that suit." And I said, "Oh, this thing, yeah, thanks. I mean, the pant legs are a little short, the way it was hemmed, and it's funny. And right here, this button is," and he said, no, shut up. When somebody says something nice to you, don't launch into some story about how it's not good and you don't look good and how the suit is not nice. Say thank you and shut your mouth. I said, "Oh, okay." My dad has a way with words that sometimes we don't see eye to eye on. But I heard that loud and clear, and it stuck with me. So I said the same thing to you. Say thank you. Be pleasant. Be proud. Be powerful. Let me show you guys something. I carry these cards around with me all the time. And on the front of them, they say, "Expect a miracle." And on the back, they say, "Nothing." And so I'll just have them with me, and I'll go to the store, and I'll be checking out and the cashier will take my money, and then they'll give me my receipt, and I'll say, "Here, this is for you." And they always do this. They always look at it, and then they look at me, and they look at it, because they think I'm trying to sell them something. And they look at the back, and they look really suspicious. And I always do this. I say, "If you don't want it, I'll take it back." And they go, no, I need this. I need a miracle. And so I'll give them another one, and I'll say, "Well, here's one for you to give away to a friend." And you wouldn't believe the impact that has on people. It's a stupid business card. It costs what, half of a penny to get one? But the shift that happens for a person when you make a gesture like that, just out of nowhere, a total stranger with nothing to gain, just doing something nice for somebody, it completely transforms their day and their world, and it ripples out everywhere. It really does. It begins to soften not only that person, but you. And it begins for the both of you to begin the direction and progress of building new set points, of building powerful, positive new set points. And that's what I want to share with you guys. So please click the button here on the bar over on the side, okay? It will take you to the order form, and you have to put in the promo code, capital letters, WTTM97. It will reduce the price from $297 to only $97. One-time payment, $97, And if you do that now before the timer is up here, I'm going to throw in for you guys, I'm going to throw in my inner circle coaching. So that's something that is valued at $197 alone, all by itself. It's awesome. I mean, it really does kick butt. And I want you guys to be in there. I want you guys to take part of that. I want you to begin dialing in the things that I learned, the things that helped me begin to broadcast a crazy high vibration, a crazy frequency. Okay? I want you to get dialed into that and begin making that permanent. Begin to make that part of your situation. Pat says, got it. All right, Pat. Congratulations. I really, for you guys here today, I want to do something awesome for you guys too. And if you make the plunge here, so to speak, remember, you're protected. You have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you tomorrow, I don't care. It's not a big deal at all. But I would like to have some one-on-one time with you. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, then go ahead and get Window to the Mind. Get it right now. Click the button. You'll go to the order page. You'll type in the promo code WTTM97. And for those of you that do it today, I want to give you some special one-on-one time. So maybe the way that would look would be on a phone call, maybe on a Skype, so we could video and talk to each other that way. Whatever you want. I would really like to go above and beyond. I would like to deliver an exchange in abundance, as I like to say, because it's so powerful. Not only have I given you guys a huge discount and then given you a bunch of extra things here too, but like right now I'm just thinking, I didn't even plan this part. I want to give you my time. I would like to spend an hour with each and every one of you. So that's an opportunity for us to, I don't know, just talk. We could talk about some of the challenges maybe that you're facing, or maybe if you're not really clear and laser focused on, as Napoleon Hill put it, what your chief aim is, if you can't define it and getting burning desire to achieve that, then you're just, you squander around. You sort of flip and flop around, and that's never going to help you get to your goals. So if that's something that's interesting to you, let's do that. I would love to offer that to you. I'd love to spend some time with you guys. I really would. As much as I've tried to get you guys to interact with me here on these webinars, and you do in the chats, and that's great, and I really do appreciate it. But I guess I just want you guys to get on and be part of the community too. So maybe that's overwhelming to people. They don't want to be part of the community. They just want to do their own thing. But if you want to connect with me, I will gladly give you 1 hour of one-on-one coaching time with me, specifically on some of the things that you're struggling with, some of the things that you're dealing with. All right. But you need to do that here in the next 4 minutes and 18 seconds. All right. I'm putting the press on you here because honestly, if I have like 6 of you guys buy it, that's 6 hours of time. So, I mean, I'm not complaining about it either. I'm happy to do that. But I just can't offer that up to anyone and everyone that, wants that. So if you are even considering or thinking about what this course can do for you, I've taken the risk away. You can jump into it. I tell you, just jump in the deep end. There's nothing but love in the pool that you're going to jump into, and you're protected for the next 30 days. If it's something that you decide later you didn't want, which I'm pretty confident that's not going to be the case. Or, for whatever reason, I don't care. You might log in and you don't like the color of the website. Fine. And you just send me an email. and I'll send you a refund. It's not an issue at all. But I do want you guys to understand that in order to push you to make a decision and to take action and to make that decision, right? It's almost kind of pushy on my part, but it's kind of like me just saying, hey, you have 2.5 minutes left. Make a decision. You either are going to do it or not. It's like jump in and let's squeeze the orange for every bit of juice we can out of it, or don't, and that's fine too. I'm not trying to talk you into one way or the other, only just to push you a bit, kind of poke you a little bit. Like, what do you want? Like, make a decision. Just decide already. What is it that you want to do? All right. So I hope that some of those experiences that I went through in my life, especially with that football coach and a lot of the stories that I told today, hope those are little nuggets for you, little golden nuggets, because it's not like you're going to get on some webinar and I'm going to teach you the profound meaning of life or something. It's about you just getting exposure to it again and again and again and again through repetition. It's about us developing a relationship. And, you guys, I know who who the regulars are that keep showing up and keep showing up. And it makes me happy. It really does. Because I know those are the people that are putting in the time, and those are the people that will get the results. It's not the people that jump onto the webinar for 10 minutes at the beginning or 5 minutes at the end or whatever. It's you. It's those of you that are here right now. It's those of you that understand the importance and the power of hearing these things again and again and applying them into your life again and again. Remember the video I sent you guys about the 4 stages of learning? It's about getting to a level of unconscious competence so that you just know that you know. You don't even have to think about it. It's just woven into the fabric and the energetic field of who you are. So you are permeating and beaming this signal out 24/7 every night while you're asleep in bed. You're beaming it out into the world. You're connecting with the people that are going to deliver your dreams to you. You're going to meet the right person at the right time. The places, the circumstances are like some magnetic draw that's just outside of your radar screen. You can't see it. It's there. I promise you that it's there. I promise you that it's there. You just can't see it. So I want to encourage you guys, if you have any inkling at all, then just say yes. Say yes to yourself. Click the button here as we wind down. 10 seconds left. WTTM97. You can get the course for $97 instead of $300. I'm going to throw in for you guys my Inner Circle coaching series as a value-added bonus. And for those of you guys that do it right here now, I'm going to do a 1-hour coaching, consultation, conversation, whatever you want to call it, as long as it starts with a C. And I just, with all of my heart, I show up to these things each day, kind of with an outline of what we're going to talk about and what we're going to go over. But then I just let it go. I let it flow. And I know that sometimes some of the lessons that need to be taught are not things that I plan on teaching, which actually happened today in several instances. So thank you to you for being so fluid and so movable and malleable. As we wind up here, I'm going to just check the questions and the chats and stuff. Oh, thank you guys. All right. Much love to each and every one of you. And I will see you then, or I'll see you at another time. Bye.